if you own a Prius and you turned on your air conditioner or heating, in this case, right now the outside temperature is 67, and we're going to use our auto function on the air conditioning, and we're going to go lower than the outside temperature. So in essence, if you noticed, the bars here went almost all the way to the top, and you don't hear any blowing. If that's the case, whether it's happening to you on air conditioning or heating, or even if you bypass the auto function and went ahead and manually raised the fan all the way up, and you just hear dead silence, like nothing is coming out of the vents, then it most likely is your blower motor, which is located down there. So we're going to show you how to replace it. We're also going to put a link in the description where you can save over $100 on the purchase of it. And believe me, we have tried. We called O'Reilly, we called Pep Boys, we called Napa, we called Advanced Auto Parts, we called every single auto parts in our area, and all the prices were about the same. They're about $170, and we got ours for under 50 bucks. And we're going to show you just how easy it is to replace it so you can do it yourself. All right, we're at the bottom of the passenger side, and what you need to locate are these 3 tabs. So you got 1, 2, and 3, and you need to push them in and it will come down. You need to do it on all 3 of them. Trying to get the shot here because it's a little tight. You need to push the tab and pull down, just like I'm doing there. You can use a flathead screwdriver if you want, or just use your nail. And then you're going to see the little under light area here. It just pops up, so just pull it up like that, and you'll see it's a little light there. Make sure while you're doing this, the car's completely off. So we have the car completely turned off right now. There's no power. The ignition's not on. So once these 3 tabs are down, all you need to do is pull it towards you. And there's going to be this little part here, which goes on a hole right here. So once you get the 3 tabs down, just pull it towards you, and it comes out this way. So you need to keep in mind that this little part, which is about almost 2 inches, is inside that hole. You don't want to pull it down. You don't want to pull it any other way, just straight out like a tray. And it's basically this cover that you're seeing here right now. So once you have this out of the way, we'll show you what to do. Here is your fan motor or blower motor for the air conditioning and heat, and it's secured by 3 screws, and it's easy to take the 3 screws out. You just got to have the right bit. You don't want to use a Phillips bit because the screws look like they're Phillips, but they're not. So I'm going to post a link in the description of the exact bit that you want to use for the 3 screws that are going to come out. That's all it is. It's 3 screws, fan comes out, but you have to first disconnect it with this connector here. So you see there's power wires going to it. You're going to push it. Let me see if I can get under. So it's like the tabs on the piece that we just removed. This has a little tab here. I'm going to try to put it there so you can see it. This tab, you're going to press it with your finger down, and when you press it, just pull down and it comes off. That easy. So it's a connector, just like you can see there, and that's what's giving power to the fan motor or the blower motor. So once that's out of the way, there's no more power going to it right now. So let's go ahead and show you how we get it out of there. So here's the bit that we're using. I hope you get a good view of it. You just got to make sure it's the right size. So you want to first, with your hand, put it on each screw. There's 3 screws, and make sure that that bit is snug on the screw. If not, just continue replacing from your bit set until you get the right size. So here's the fan. I believe once we ordered it, I mean, it took us a day to get it back. So we ordered it like on a Friday and got it on a Sunday. So one day in between the time we ordered it to the day we received it. That's not bad at all. And as you can see, there are 3 screw holes. One right there, another one right there, and a third one right here. That's it, 3 screw holes. You could see the connector prongs in there from the connector we just removed, and you can see the actual blower motor. The reason why these go bad is there's a resistor in there, and on older Priuses, like the first generation Priuses, you had the resistor separate from the fan motor, because I remember replacing one with the same issues as this Prius, and it worked. But in this assembly, you get the blower wheel with all the electronics inside there, including the resistor. So you pretty much, I mean, I guess if you, I don't know if it's soldered, so you might have to have some soldering skills, but I mean, for 60 bucks after shipping and taxes, you can't beat it. And then just 3 screws. So let's go ahead and replace it now. So just want to put a little disclaimer out there, because that's where we're going to be replacing our blower wheel, and you can see my little tripod there where I'm going to try to capture everything. This here can be very uncomfortable on your rib cage. So if you're kind of laying down sideways, you want to put a little pillow there if you want, or a piece of foam like the gardeners use, you know, the gardening foam. It'll make it a little bit more comfortable as far as doing it. But really, it's not a difficult repair. I highly recommend it for anyone that wants to save yourself. You know, if you take it to a mechanic, they're going to charge you hundreds. So in this case, you're going to pay about $60, and you're doing it yourself. And it should take about 30 minutes to 45 minutes at the most. Not difficult at all. We've done it before. So let's go ahead and show you. Just giving you that little disclaimer. This will be our first screw. It's the closest one to you. So we got your bit in there. And as you can see, it easily comes out. And then we got one, let's see. We got one in the back there. You see it right there. We're going to do the same and get that one out. Okay, a little tip for the back one. You might want to use a handheld and just put a shorter bit at the end of your all-in-one driver, which is what we're using here. Handheld, and just patiently unscrew it, because your drill may not get it all the way back there because of this wall here. So just be a little patient with it and get it out. And boom, we just felt the fan motor kind of collapse. That means that screw is out. But this wall here will make it a little bit impossible to get a drill in here. So what we did is, let me show you here. Let's back up. We got a shorter bit. So the bit that we have was actually longer than this one. This one's short. Let me show you the longer one. There's the longer one. And of course, if you get the shorter one, it's the same size bit, but it's shorter. So it'll give you more space to get it in there. That's just something to keep in mind. All right, there is the third and final screw. But to get to it, you kind of need to remove this harness assembly. Don't unplug these harnesses. You don't. You follow it on the bottom, and there's a bracket holding them down, and there's a screw there that you can see it right there. That screw is a Phillips screw. So get your driver in there and remove that, and it will remove the harness assembly. You can kind of sneak under there with your finger and feel it, know where it is, get your driver in there and take it out. We're going to do that next. So there it is, and we're going with a handheld just because the positioning was a little better. So there's the screw, and that wiring harness assembly comes down, and that screw goes into that hole right there. So once that's out of the way, you can get this one out of the way. So that wiring harness assembly that was there, we just took it off to the side there, and then you have your final screw there. Let's see if we can get it out with our power driver. And there it goes. So now fan motor should just come down. There you go. And it's out of there. Once it's out of there, you want to put the new one next to the old one and make sure everything is exactly the same. You want to make sure the connections there are the same. You want to make sure the hole positions are the same. You can flip it around if you want to. Kind of see that they are the same. You can look at the connections there and there. Make sure you got what we got here, 3 prongs. Make sure you got 3 prongs there, which you do. See that? So you just want to make sure you got the right part before you go through the hassle of putting it in there. So once that's verified, let's go ahead and put it back in there, the new one. So before we get it in there, you want to make sure you position it. So you see that there is going to go right in there. So make sure I know it can be a little difficult in here, but I'm trying to capture it all on camera. There you go. Once you have it in there, just verify it's good all around. So another tip is to hold it in place before you get your screws in there. Get something to kind of wedge to that wall back here and hold it in there. Another screwdriver, preferably not the one you're using. And now we can get our 3 screws in there. So while it's being held, just get your screws in there and hand tighten as much as you can, especially the one in the back, because this one was a little tight. The one in the front, same thing, just hand tighten as much as you can. Make it easier for you later. And then don't forget the one that's over here. Hand tighten. And now it's just, all you need to do is tighten them with your driver. Then of course the one in the back, you want to use your handheld. But these two, this one here, we can use our power driver. So remember, in the back, we're going to use that handheld, and we're going to be patient. You're going to turn it a few times until you get it nice and tight. And once you're good to go, once you feel it that it's not turning anymore, then that's about as tight as you can get. Just want to pull on this a few times and make sure it's nice and tight, which it is. Now what we got to do is get our harness in there, and let's locate the hole right there. And remember, it goes right in here. Let's see. Right in there. And remember, that is a Phillips. So these 2 guides are going to guide you to get them in these 2 holes. Okay? So use the 2 guides, get it in there, and let's get our Phillips. Okay, once you got that screw in there, you want to make sure that your harness is nice and snug. And then don't forget your connector. So you want to get your connector in there. Make sure it snaps or clicks. There you go, you heard that clicking sound. So the next thing we're going to do is turn on the vehicle, turn on the air, and make sure it works. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but man, it's coming out nice. Really nice. Got a piece of paper here. Let me just put it in front of it. Look at that. I mean, you can probably even hear it down there. But we have it set all the way up. The fan's all the way up. If we switch it to auto, and let's just, you can hear that calm down a little bit. Slow down on the speed. And if we go colder, you can hear ramp up. Feels nice and cold, that's for sure. So definitely this will get your air and your heat going back again. On these Prius, this is a 2013 Prius, but I believe it's 2010 to 2015. It's the same scenario, and mostly as far as diagnostic goes, it's when you're troubleshooting, it's pretty much going to be the same thing. It's just that resistor inside the blower wheel assembly, and for about $60 you can get it taken care of by yourself, or you can go to a mechanic somewhere else and pay about $350. If you want to do that, that's fine too, but I prefer to save myself the $300 and just show everyone how to do it. Hope you liked the video. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Any comments, let us know in the comments section below. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. So thank you so much. We'll see you next time.